October 15th, 2020, will come forward with the County Commissioners now session.
Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning to everyone. Special meeting Thursday, October the 15th, 2020. We got a few items on the agenda. The first item is 2020 bond issue. You got that, Mr. Hammond?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mark Mustian with Neighbors Giblin is here, and he's got a couple things we need to pass. We were very pleased with the bond rating that came in, I guess, Tuesday. And this is preliminary to be able to close before the end of the month.
Just make sure you state your name. And
Mark Mustian, Neighbors Giblin and Nickerson in Tallahassee. Pleasure to be here. Nice to see you guys again. This is sort of the second and last action by the County Commission to borrow this money. So you passed a resolution on the 29th that sort of set this in motion, and this is the one that by passage of this you will delegate to the chairman the right to sign the bond purchase agreement that'll set the terms of the bonds and then close this. And the closing, we're planning on closing, signing everything 2 weeks from today. There are a couple of things I wanted to point out to you on the resolution just to make sure that everybody, you're aware, everybody's on the same page. One is, so we're issuing this bonds to, in part, potentially acquire a utility system which you don't own yet, and you don't have a contract to buy even yet. And so I had a similar situation with Alachua County earlier this year, and so I had the same conversation with them. So I just want to make sure that that if something happens between now and then, a hurricane comes, sinkhole falls, whatever, and you can't acquire this, you can't pay these bonds back for 7 years. So, and we had the same conversation with them. They said, well, we understand. In their case, they had other projects that they said, if this doesn't go, we're going to move the money and do something else, which is fine. And that's your decision. But I just need my job to make sure that you know that. The other thing is that once you borrow the money, you have to spend the money for stuff that you, the county, own. So you can't lend the money to anybody else, can't build something on somebody else's property. And Michael and I have talked about this. There's, given what you want to do, there's ways to work that and make sure it's legal. But again, my job is to make sure you know that. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. The parameters that are in this resolution authorize borrowing up to $4.5 million. The interest rate can't exceed 2.75%. You have to be able to pay it back within, the 7-year date is the day you can start paying it back, so it can't be any later than that. And as Michael said, we've got a very good rating from S&P on the bonds. So it's all, I think, in a good shape, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Commissioners, any questions?
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Michael, just to, we talked about dropping that other well down. Where does that put us as far as being able to do that ahead of time? Or
Well, and Mark and I have talked to that. I don't believe, even though we're going to receive and open the bids on the 27th, I don't believe that even if we chose to go ahead and award the bid, that we would be mobilized by that time. And if again, the important thing is to have a contractor identified and ready to go where we can get started. Now, again, there's really just one thing I guess we're waiting on now, and that's the assessment of whatever we want to call appraisal by the third party to assure us, the board, and the public that we're getting a good deal. Assuming that comes in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we do assume that it will, then it's just a time that we haven't decided on what day we want to close. And again, we've got to figure out with their folks and the executives when the billing cycle and how we're going to accept that. But we don't see, barring the earthquake, the good Lord coming back or something, that we're not going to close by the end of November. So again, if something delays that, then we're going to have to come back and find a legal mechanism, lease or something to that nature, to go ahead and sink that well. But we don't believe that's going to be a foreseeable problem, because if we go ahead and award, say, on the 27th, it'll take several weeks to mobilize. So right now, we don't plan on anybody starting any work on that property until it's in county hands.
Well, we can go on, can we go on out for bids on the well, I guess is what I.
We're
Okay,
out, and
okay.
we plan to take and award at the end of this month.
Okay.
And we
okay.
plan to close on that property no later than the 30th of November. So again, we're talking about, and the attorney and I discussed this, if we get in a situation where we don't close on the 30th, we do need to start the well, certainly no later than the first week or two of December. We'll have to come up with a different way to skin that cat. But it's doable, we just have to do it the right way.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, any other commissioners?
Got one other quick thing about, there's a max in the bond resolution of, I think you said 275, and we won't know until the day they sail. I mean, you have nuclear war in the Middle East, and the market goes to crap. But it appears right now that the rates are trending even on the high end, meaning in the later years, less than 2. So we're talking about borrowing money in the 1 to 1.6 or 7 or 8 range, which is wonderful. Most folks wish they could borrow at that rate.
Mm-hmm.
So our debt service cost will be greatly reduced because of that rate. And again, we won't know until next Thursday, 2 weeks from today.
Okay. More questions, commissioners? All right. So what you need from us today?
He's got a couple of things he needs you to pass.
Just a motion to adopt the resolution, and the clerk has the
Okay.
final version of it.
All right. And you good with everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I entertain a motion that we adopt that resolution with the
So moved,
changes.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, motion by Commissioner McCrone,
Second.
second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any further board discussion? All right, anyone in the public? Emails?
No, sir.
All right, any opposition? All right, motion passes 5-0.
And the plan is, unless something drastically changes, that we will close here, probably in wherever the clerk wants to. The only two important people now are the chairman of the board and the clerk, to close at 9 or 10 o'clock. We're fluid on that on Thursday, the 29th, and it will be funded during the night or whatnot. Funds will be available on the Friday, the 30th.
All right, thank you.
Need from us?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Real quick on administrative report and update. Mark has got an agreement, state, again, we've been in talks for 9 or 10 months about the state taking over maintenance and ownership, actually, with a reverter on the Salt Creek Road, and they're not quite through with all the things they need to do to take ownership, but they've got a request that Mark's going to talk to you about.
Okay, all right.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So I've been talking to Mr. Dan Roberts with FWC, and he's dealing with their private lands folks. The acquisition of Salt Creek Road, they think it's going to take about a year. But they have a pretty big project scheduled for the spring of 2021. And so in order to accomplish them staying on task, they want to know if the county would be interested in entering into a letter of agreement with them that would outline pros or whatever agreement the county is okay with and FWC is okay with, for them to go ahead and start their project. And at that point, they would also start maintaining the road itself. So the county, it'd almost be like they had already acquired it until the point that they could actually acquire it legally. So they had asked that I would bring this up and talk to the attorney and talk to the board. So I would say that it would probably be in line to make a motion that we go forward with this letter of agreement, continue to Jeremy's review of it, and then Jeremy and their attorneys will work out the agreement, everything that works out in the county's favor and FWC that we can agree to. Then the chairman sign the documents, necessary documents, and then we can go ahead and move down that road.
Okay. All right.
I did quick math, just sitting back there figuring the road. In our grading contract alone, it would save us like nearly $14,000 a year just not having to grade the road. So the sooner we start this, the faster we start saving money.
All right. Commissioners, questions, concerns? Good with that?
I'm good.
Good. Mr. Rich, you fine? All right. I entertain a motion, we send that letter then.
So moved for the letter.
All right, motion by Commissioner McDaniel,
Second.
second by Commissioner McCrone. Any further board discussion? All right, anyone in the audience? Anything? Emails, Ms. Carey? All right, any opposition? All right, motion passes 5-0.
I'll get the right people from their group in contact with Jeremy, and they can start working that agreement. All right, thanks, sir.
Real quick, bring it up, if you give an update on Salinas Park, and then let's talk about the concrete, what we're gonna do about that at the landfill.
Okay, so at Salinas Park here, I don't know, I guess it's 2 or 3 weeks now that we've been, large amount of the public works crew working in the park. The trees were standing from the storm. However, how this happens, they're so close to the coast, none of them got really bent. They were standing, but they were all dead. We've cut hundreds of trees and got them stacked, in different locations. We had a mass after the rain. I guess it was something to do with the storm surge and the rain from the event that we had here a while back. There was about 6 feet of standing water in the back. So we're working, it's more than just cutting trees. We've got a lot going on in Salinas Park that we're having to fix. We've come quite a ways in that process. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with it. It's slow and it still looks bad, but it's going to take a while to get it shaped up. So we are working steadfast in that. I don't know percentage of completion, because it's like every day it seems like we find new tasks, that we need to do. But nonetheless, we're working hard and steady in Salinas Park. We've had compliments on what we're doing, at least moving around in there, and they can see the trees are down and stuff's working. So you have that going on. Then you have the concrete at out here. So we have a large pile of concrete that we had gathered up from the storm that we were getting, and now we weren't in a position at the time to crush the concrete to have it usable, for the county or to sell it or whatever we want to do with it, because we're having to use it at the transfer station as something for people to drive up on and then back and dump into the dumpsters. Now that that's over, when the transfer station's open and all good, we got a large pile of concrete down there that would be a benefit to the county if we had went out and talked to contractors that would be interested in coming and crushing it and having a suitable material that we could use for, array of different jobs, road-based stuff, driveway stuff. Crushed concrete works so much better than lime rock because it doesn't absorb water. So if we go up to Marion and buy a load of lime rock, we bring it down here and we use it in a wet situation, it soaks up the water and gets mushy. The crushed concrete doesn't. So it's got value different than lime rock for somewhere roughly in the same ballgame of price once it's crushed. So it would be a benefit to have a large pile of crushed concrete that the county could utilize themselves if we were to crush it. I don't know what the wishes of the board would be if I go out and maybe talk to some contractors and get some quotes on what they're thinking, how many tons of concrete we have and how much it will cost to get it crushed, and then we can see on our road and street budget what I'm taking out of what I buy road material every year for. A portion of that could go toward that, because we wouldn't be buying road material, we'd have our own at that point.
All right. Questions, Commissioners?
If I could, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. Just want to respond to Mark. I hammered them pretty hard that last meeting about Salinas, and I tell you what, they've done a tremendous job. They've done a ton of work in a short period of time. Just want to give the Public Works, I tell you what, y'all stepped up to the plate, Mark. Appreciate y'all.
Well, there was a lot of situation at Salinas Park that had gotten unsafe. I mean, the trees were dead. They had dead limbs. They had widowmakers hanging from them, and so some of it was very slow, and you had to get the right angle. You had to use equipment, not just a man on a saw down below, and so we've made it with no injuries, which is phenomenal. I was very worried that as many trees had to come down, that putting you guys at risk out there. They're not lumberjacks. They're Public Works. They cut a pile of trees and with no injuries, and that was the thing I was most thankful for.
Just so everybody knows, we didn't have any choice as far as cutting the trees. After the salt, the event we had with salt water and all that, we didn't have any choice.
I'm glad to share the hammering part. I just thought it may not.
Hey, Hammer, I might hammer you. I'll step up and tell you when you're good. I can tell you that.
All right, go ahead, Commissioner McDaniel.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mark, I went out and saw what's going on there, and it's amazing. Now, do you have an outlet for these trees? It's my understanding that some private entity will come and, are they going to pick the trees up on site, or do we have to move them to a site?
So
I know we're kind of bundling them and stacking them. I know that.
So we have stacked them up in anticipation of this program that Mr. Jim had talked about last week down here at the port. and they take stuff like that, and then they chip it and they use it for the stuff. So we had set that stuff aside in hopes that, that would be a useful product for that group. And I think we're still talking, maybe more than I need to have a conversation with them. We don't have a way of transporting them, whole trees, we need a log truck. And I don't know that he would provide a log truck or not. It sounded like in conversation that he wasn't maybe set up to have a log truck come. We could load them with an excavator, but we don't have a way of transporting them. It'd take us forever in a lowboy to lay them on there and try to get them there. But so we need to talk about that, about how.
That'd be best way, if you just have to give it to them, just.
Oh, yeah, I'm
The
fine with
big
giving it
thing,
to
you
them.
got the safety factor
That's right.
by laying them down. They
That's
were,
right.
they were a lot of, what happened, salt water got in there from that hurricane and killed the root system. There's a lot of them on the bayside, little singles scattered around. They're gonna have to be addressed too.
Yep, and that property on the bayside is ours too, and we're just trying to do it methodically. We're starting on one side and gonna work the way
You
up.
get that vast,
That's right.
90% of them were over there.
No, we got most of the water out, didn't we, Mark?
Yep, the water is mostly, if not all, gone now, so, and we're gonna set it up to where we won't have that problem again.
There you go. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, yes, sir.
Going back to the concrete, if we could let me work with Public Works and figure this out under my spending authority without bidding it. This is most of this concrete was paid by the disaster folks, either Ashbrit or DRM, to bring to us at a reduced rate. We thought we had a fairly low contract price or a quote that they were doing it in the Panhandle for a certain rate, but we had to have a certain tonnage. We didn't reach that threshold. So if we can work with that and pay for the crushing of this out of that tipping fee that was set aside from the disaster, if we could do that, waive the bid requirement, let me do it under my spending authority, that would speed up the process, if that's a doable thing. Again, we're still gonna net out positive from what we charge versus what it's gonna cost to crush. And then we'll have the opportunity to use the leftovers. They'll take the wire and the metal out of it, and then we'll just have the road-based material.
Okay.
I'm
Go ahead,
fine
Mr.
with
Rogers.
that. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Rogers.
I agree with that. And right now, the guys on 386 have a crusher up there crushing concrete,
Yeah, we have some people in the county now doing that.
doing that, so that'd be a good time to reach out to them. So, yeah.
Which is why we probably get the best deal if we can make a deal with the folks that are already here.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so you want us to give you authority to go ahead on and move forward with the crushing of the concrete?
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions, concerns, Commissioner? And we need to waive the bid policy?
Please.
So you say yes?
Up to my spending authority.
Okay.
Just recognize that I can do it under my spending authority. This is disaster material. This was from a disaster, and it's in our way and impeding us at the landfill right now. We need the material certain places in District 5 specifically right now.
Okay, questions, Commissioner? All right, you're good with them. All right, well, I entertain a motion then.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, motion by Commissioner Crum,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rogers. Any further board discussion? All right, anyone in the audience? Emails, Ms. Carey? All right, any opposition? All right, motion passes 5-0. All right,
y'all.
let me ask you this. So you said about the law, about the removing those trees. So should we reach out to someone with a log truck and once the time comes when they're ready to take the trees?
I think we've got it figured out.
Okay.
But yes, sir. If we can't find somebody to come get them for free, then we've got another backup plan for that. We can't haul them, and it's not worth it to give them away if we have to hire somebody to haul them off. So
Okay.
we've got a backup plan if we can't give them to somebody.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yep, thank y'all.
If Clay or Casey wants to come up and give an update on the derelict vessel deal, this is kind of expanded beyond what we initially thought. We have put in for the Donna K and the sailboat on the Indian Pass Beach, and I think now it's expanded to a barge and maybe some more stuff, so.
Yeah, so far we've received 3 letters from FWC for derelict vessels, and those are the 3, the Donna K, the sailboat that's at Indian Pass, kind of off Gulf Pines Drive, and then in the canal, the Gulf County Canal, there's a barge, or a work barge up there. So we've advertised that. We'll receive bids or open the bids at your meeting in November. And the plan is, once we receive those bids, we'll then know the cost for each vessel then we'll go to FWC and apply for the money. And if FWC funds it, we move forward. If they don't fund it, then we probably don't. But that's the plan, so that's out there.
Where did the barge come from?
Sir?
Where did the barge come from?
FWC sent it to us. We didn't ask for it, and I wasn't really aware of it, but it said Townsend Marine. So it's somewhere on the Highland Canal.
Yep.
Okay.
From the St. Joe side, the city side of the canal.
Is that Townsend's up there? Is that close to
I don't know if it's Mr. Townsend's. It said Townsend Marine as
There's a
being the
sunk barge.
location,
There's a sunk barge up there.
but I don't know the owner.
Okay,
This is the barge with the crane on it, the
Yeah,
Connex.
yeah.
It's that one.
yeah.
And while Clay is up here, and McKnight's gone to a Gulf Coast trustee meeting. We had the barges show up on time, with chips in them. Part of their request for us was to extend that road several hundred feet where they can go directly from the scales at Arizona Chemical under the underpass to the mill site. If we could get the board to agree to do that, I don't have a price yet, get Clay to work on it. We're going to ask. Our deal is expired with St. Joe Company, but they paid 50/50 on that with us when we put it in. We'll certainly ask. I'm thinking $10,000 to $15,000 at the most. It's just a guess, but if we can get moving on that and move forward with that project, with or without St. Joe on this particular one, if that's the will of the board.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have no problem. I think it'd be great. We need to put that, help them out, you know. That way we ain't got to worry about those trucks driving out across that road.
It's getting so congested there at Industrial and 98.
Can't turn
It
left.
takes forever to get out, so I think it's gotta be done.
All right.
What, Mr. Chairman, may,
Yes.
Clay, what type of road, you gravel?
Lime rock is what's there.
Lime rock?
So I assume
Okay.
just continue that on.
Maybe crushed concrete.
Maybe
Paul.
crushed
I was thinking. All right.
All right.
Anything to keep them off the highway there.
All right, so you need a motion to move forward with the,
Well, if you just don't even really need a motion, we'll keep it under my bid amount, but
Okay.
if the board's good with it,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good enough for me. Real quick, too, I had several of you that had discussions about the announcement in Washington County and Mexico Beach and other ones getting FEMA reimbursement. Now, some of that is mixed with debris removal stuff that the state was already paying for us. You know, our bill was somewhere in the $100 million range. We still have out, and Warren, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around $35 million of projects. The road number is unknown, but we think it's in the 15. Where's Clay go? The road and culvert. Yeah, but pretty good estimate, 15 would be in that ballpark. Okay. We have 17 plus on the berm, so just those two are 32 million, and we have several million in other things. So we've got about $35 million worth of projects left to fund. They have funded, again, if you take the 100 million off, they funded 5 or 6 million in other costs. We still haven't received word on the cost share from the governor's office. Warren and I had a conference call with the chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff, Monday or Tuesday. And again, it's still on their radar. We stressed to him the importance, and we're only talking because of President Trump knocked it down from 12.5% to 5%, but 5% of 40 million is still a big chunk of money. So about 10 million total for the Panhandle, 2 million for us is what the waiver's worth, and they're still working on that. We also have a call. We had some little bit of confusion with Economic Development, DEO, about the CDBG-DR process, and them requiring you to certify that it was storm damage to get reimbursement, but also requiring that you did not get any FEMA money or insurance money, which would make it impossible for a county government to, if it's not covered by FEMA or insurance, you know, that. So again, they're backing off some of that. We have a conference call on the 26th with the new director of DEO, Mr. Eagle, to try to get some further clarification. We have until November 30th to get our projects in, so maybe as soon as the 27th, I'll ask you to rank those. We intend to turn in 5 initial projects on this first tranche of money, which is somewhere around $100 million.
so Michael, what did we did before? So what was that we turned in and we ranked?
the board had, and I want to say 10 or 11 priorities.
So we're gonna,
We need to trim those down
Okay.
to a maximum of 5. And again, and I'd have to go back and look at that list. I know most of them off the top of my head. We'll probably know more after the 26th call.
Okay.
Right now, even though we've wasted a lot of time, or spent a lot of time, I won't say we wasted a lot of time with the old DEO group, asking them to make requests of HUD. Number one, the low mod waiver, meaning that 80% of this money doesn't have to be spent in low-income areas, which really disenfranchises counties. It disenfranchises most of Gulf County. It really benefits cities, specifically the city of Panama City Beach, but in this particular case, not Panama City Beach, Panama City, when you have large areas of low-income population, but Mexico Beach would not qualify, Cape San Blas would not qualify, St. Joe Beach, Beacon Hill, none of those areas would qualify under that plan. So it's very easy to get a waiver from HUD. The state didn't ask for a waiver, so we're going to have to ask for individual waivers. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. The other thing that we want to stress is Gulf and Bay got the most damage. Calhoun and Jackson got the next most damage. This encompasses a lot of areas, including Leon, which had no damage. They shouldn't have been included, and it goes as far east as Taylor, I believe. So again, we want to know how the pie is going to be split and make sure that we're not competing against the city of Tallahassee for infrastructure projects. The other thing is there's going to be multiple times tranches of money. Part of this is an economic development, or what they don't call economic development, they call it economic revitalization, I think is their deal. So, for instance, this is a great example. We put in as our number 1 or number 2 priority, initially the board did, the match for the port on the dredging, okay? And we penciled in $5 million because we got $20 million from the state. It's been promised. They're applying for 15 from Triumph, and this would be just like the icing on the cake, the extra money to get it over the hump. As of yesterday, the Port Authority had to turn in their application. I don't want to necessarily waste our match with $5 million if DOT and Triumph aren't ready with their money, meaning we may want to wait to even though it's a top priority, we may want to wait to the second round for that if they're not ready, because this is money that's going to start flowing in the next 6 months. We don't want to say, oh, well, we've got you $5 million set aside and you didn't use it, we're going to throw it back in the pot. We want to make sure that, so some of your projects was airport, water, sewer projects. Washington Gym was on that list, and it may not be enough, it may not be great enough to put on this first list because of the qualifications. I think it's got to be $500,000 or $250,000 is the minimum and no maximum. So we need to just, y'all to prioritize your list. It is your list. We can turn up to 5 applications at this time. We need to prioritize those and move forward. So we may not be ready on the 27th. I'm hoping, based on that 26th call, that we will be ready for you to rank 5, and then we'll turn them over to our consultant. We've got a fairly quick turnaround because November the 30th is the deadline.
Okay. All right, you still got the floor.
All right, that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioners, y'all got anything? All right. Anyone in the audience? All right. That's it then. Thank everyone for coming to the special meeting. Entertain a motion, we adjourn. Motion by Commissioner McGaines. Second by Commissioner Perone. Any opposition? Motion passes 5-0.